you're being scammed. Every tourist that comes to Bangkok is trapped eating the same overpriced pad thai and shitty 7-Eleven toasties. I have found a regional authentic Thai buffet that serves all you can eat for less than the cost of your crappy matcha latte and avocado on toast. I'm not telling you what region, you'll have to guess for yourself. Let's forget the insanely good price tag. Let's look at why this stuff's legit. That's a traditional jiaohon. So it's made with galangal, lemongrass, you've got Thai basil up in there, animal blood in the soup itself, and then, of course, a shit ton of chilies. Look how thin that is. You can see the light through that. The meat at hot pot places is sliced so thinly, you only need to cook it for literally 2 to 3 seconds, and it is done. Beef tongue, 3 seconds, perfect. If you cook that for too long, it's going to contract, it's going to become tough, fibrous, and gristly. It takes real skill and craftsmanship to make stocks like that. The right ingredients cooked for the right time. So you're skimming, reducing, skim, reduce, over and over and over until the original liquid has reduced by at least 50% to intensify that flavor. Pro tip, guys, when you're eating hot pot, put your noodles in last. Firstly, save room for the good stuff, the meat and the seafood. Secondly, it allows the soup, the hot pot itself, to develop flavor. So when those noodles go in, they take on all the flavor, not just of that soup, but of all the other things you've put in there. Mwah, bellissimo. Little tips like that allow you to do what chefs do, and that's turn the ordinary into the extraordinary with just a little bit of patience and a couple of sneaky tricks. Indomie, Shin Ramen, cup noodle. In Thailand, it's mama noodle every time. Please sponsor me, mama noodles. This isn't just Thai food. This is specific. If you've picked up on the clues I've left you, drop a comment below. Let me know which region of Thailand you think this is from. This is muping. Muping is coarse ground pork. It's marinated coriander root, white pepper, you've got some garlic up in there, and most importantly, coconut milk. The acid in the coconut milk helps break down the meat, which gives it a really moist, melt in your mouth, juicy flavor. The one thing I love about Isan food is that it uses a lot of fermented fish sauces and pastes, and on the other hand, a shit ton of chilies and lime, more than other regions of Thailand, which makes this both earthy and funky, but also pungent and spicy as fuck. These are sai kok. These are made with minced pork and fermented rice. If you look inside, you can see the little grains of fermented rice in there. Now, often if you go to a specialist sai kok vendor or stall, you can choose how fermented, i.e. how funky, you want your balls to be. This is sun-dried beef. So the beef is left out in the sun until it's half-dried, so it's not quite jerky. It's then grilled and served with jiao bong, which is this. And that is an intense dried fish-based dip. That is very, very fish-basedy. We cannot talk about this part of Thailand without talking about somtam. Young, unripe papaya, dry shrimps, chilies, lime, fish sauce, load of palm sugar, peanuts up in there, green beans and tomatoes. Mwah. Kok play sak, or pestle and mortar, is integral to Isan cooking. They pound all of their curry pastes and all of their somtam salads using this pestle and mortar technique. The reason that this works instead of a blender or just chopping it is because when you pound vegetables, herbs, it squeezes all of the oils and juices out, and that sort of makes the dressing for the salad. Southeast Asian salads are different to Western salads. They don't have a separate sauce or dressing. The flavor of the liquid, the sauce, comes from the constituents of the salad themselves, And that is all formed in that pestle and mortar. We've even got room for dessert. Have a look at that. Classic mango sticky rice, Thai street food dessert, in ice cream form. It's got little bits of sticky rice through the ice cream. Fantastic texture. And then just loads of mango coulis. Sweet, mangoey, sharp, banger. This is mental. It's like a candied but sour, candied fruit ice cream. There's bits of mango, there's bits of corn, and I think there's some other type of pear in there as well. My taste buds don't know what's happening to them at the moment. I've got fruit, I've got sour, salty, crunchy peanuts, sweet from the ice cream. And for some weird reason, I just kept eating it. I don't know why, because I didn't really like it. If you want to keep training your palate, stop eating tourist trash. Make sure you subscribe to GETeats for more technical breakdowns of the world's best food. In a bit, guys.